This is the first of 2 qualifying races for the Grand Prix of Gravis City. This race features only the Independence Trophy cars. The top 4 finishers will advance into the main race. Everyone else gets another shot in the last chance qualifier. On the front row, Anthony Griffith, car number 07 on your right, and Ryan Matthews in car number 06 is on the left. Gabriel Messena is on the inside of row number 2, along with Sealand's Ebenezer Quiggles Jr. Archer Harris is tangerine orange car, and the inside of row 3, along with John Quackenbush in car 34. Frank Azure in car 46, and then Ike Durbin in his usual car number 58 for Terra International Motorsports. Twice a Cariolo winner, Danny Savin inside row 5, and Mike Humphreys in car number 0. Joao Paulo Vidal and Ryan Griffin make up the 6th row. Both of them have been very quick so far this weekend. Stan Hull and Daniel Leckliter in his own car make up row 7. Row number 8, Vitaly Karpenko of Russia in the Togliatti, and John Dilks of the United States in the Ian Masterson car. Keegan Mallory and Makoto Yamada, who is in for Richard Scott, in car 225. Joel Rodriguez in car 86, and Hannah PERCY in car number 28. What's she doing back there? And on the last row, Craig Mummert, car number 114, has had some problems getting acclimatized to this track. Engine problems curtailed his running in practice. And we're waiting for the start. There we go. And it's Ryan Matthews, terrible start. Quiggles Jr. rockets off the line in that blue 99 car as they enter turn 1 here in Industrial Zone 7. Quiggles Jr. up to 2nd, and Mallory is wide in the background. And we've got problems. Mallory in the wall, John Dilks in the wall, as Griffith pulling away, and there's another big accident right behind him. Ryan Griffin in the 57 car moves over and just takes out Danny Savin. That's a big hit onto the 91 car. Savin off. Griffin pushes up into Vidal. Vidal having none of that. Rodriguez involved. Mummert. Mummert's woes continue. He had nowhere to go. And Mallory as well. John Dilks, the 29 car, was involved with Mallory earlier. Matthews now attacks Quiggles Jr. as they leave Zone 7, coming back onto the City Street section. Passing by, most of these buildings here are actually apartments where a lot of people actually live in, actually. Talk about good free seating for this race. As Matthews is going to retake 2nd. And look at the 34! Look at the 34 as we got some cars bouncing off each other in the back. Everyone keeps it clean. Quackenbush having a run on Quiggles Jr. He's got a good run on him at the north end of the circuit. Big slide there from the 34 car, but he hangs on to it. Quiggles Jr. trying to pinch him in a little bit. Quackenbush, whoa! There goes Humphreys around in the background. As look at Messena, bouncing off the 34 car, and the Brazilians up to 3rd. What a move by Gabe Messena in car number 71. And the Togliatti Karpenko got a fantastic start. But let's look at what was going on back here with Ike Durbin and the 0 car. Humphreys bounces into the 58 car, shoves him off the track. Ike Durbin swings back in on the inside, and I don't think he appreciated that. Well, that's not exactly gonna earn Ike Durbin too many brownie points with the stewards who aren't terribly fond of that, I don't think. As there is Karpenko in the 63 car. The 63 car, Karpenko, and Stan Hull in the 09 both had incredible opening laps. Look at this, Karpenko is in a transfer position right now. From the first lap from that far back, who would have thought that? The Russian Karpenko, not exactly one of the more highly rated drivers. I know he's one spot out of a transfer position actually, but he's not exactly the most highly rated driver, but that is a fantastic start. Here is Leckliter in the 47 car. He had quite the opposite. Looks like he's going backwards a little bit. He's a bit wide. Ooh, almost wiped out that car because he had to try to correct that, and he kept it off the wall, as you can see, but he's well down the order right now. 63 car again, Karpenko trying to hold up Ebenezer Quiggles Jr., who has a teammate for the first time since the special events earlier in the year. Marcus Leonard, of course, was fan voted into the LCQ, and he's been showing quite a bit of pace for qualifying there as well, as Quiggles Jr. retakes the place. Hannah PERCY in the 28 car now showing up to do battle with Karpenko, as Vitaly Karpenko having Hannah PERCY in his mirrors, not exactly the most comforting thing, I would imagine. PERCY makes a dive. Is she going to pull it off? No. As we go, this is an interesting shot right here, going under those overpasses. And, oh, Karpenko, big slide there, and it looks like he might be a bit slow there. It's been interesting. It looks like he might be losing a bit of pace. Something might be going wrong with the 63 already, which is a big disappointment, really, considering how fast he was in the opening lap. Hull going by. Matthews in car number 06 as they are lapping John Dilks, who's already been in the pits. I think Dilks realizes he's out of it right now, and he's just trying to get in some extra practice laps for the LCQ. Yeah, Dilks being a pretty cooperative backmarker in car number 29. As you see, Matthews looks like he's reeling Griffith in just a little bit, though. Anthony Griffith has been very, very quick. And I think he realizes this is his chance to lock himself into the Grand Prix of Gravis City, which does count for Independence Trophy points. And especially if one of these guys has a mishap earlier in the season. Remember that the Independence Trophy is the best 4 results you get, not counting promoters options. So, we're on board with Gabriel Messena, as you saw him going into turn 1. Now we're going into the second turn. There's that wide, it's pretty low grip paint over there. As Messena now, we're going by the old gasworks on the right. There's actually quite a few grandstands, and there's a subway station not too. You can't really see it beyond those billboard signage, but it's on the right. As now they're leaving Zone 7, coming onto the City Street section. Warehouses on the right, and now they're going to about to make the long run down Carver Street. You see the Asira Company has quite a bit of signage around here. Now, there's the turn onto Carver Street, under a couple of apartment buildings, and as we re-enter Zone 7 at the end of Carver, you see there's a wide entry. There's been a lot of carnage over in this part of the track. This is the north end of the circuit right here. You can tell because of that the red painted surface over there. Now, these roads here are mostly used by large semi-trucks. That's why it's, for a temporary circuit, that's why this is it's as wide as it is. And that last turn is a little disconcerting. E.B. Mara had a pretty big accident over there in first practice, but they repaired that car just fine. Here is Quiggles Jr. now working on Quackenbush for a transfer spot, 3 wide into turn 1. Quiggles Jr., there he goes, right on by. What a move from the Sealander. He wants to make up some ground, because even though he got a really good jump off the line, he really actually lost quite a bit of spots in the opening lap. Makoto Yamada, car 225, late call to replace Richard Scott in the Big Mac car. He's actually doing very well, I'd say, because he's really not had any arguments with the concrete, even though he appears to be having one with Vitaly Karpenko at the moment. This is actually one of the better battles going on at the moment. These two have been trading that place for a couple of laps. PERCY and Quackenbush doing battle here. This is for 5th. Oh, PERCY and Quackenbush not exactly playing nice here. PERCY runs him over, and Quackenbush has none of it. Quackenbush shoving the 28 car, and PERCY hits the wall. And a shake of a fist from John Quackenbush, and that was PERCY slides into Quackenbush in the 34. And I think she must think she's clear of him, because she moves over on him, and then just kind of realized her mistake a little late. No, she didn't get an extra shove there from the 34. I was mistaken there, but I think if she had been paying maybe a bit more attention, that might not have happened, because not really supposed to be running other cars over into that into the painted runoffs here, because they really don't have a whole lot of grip because it's paint. And now the leaders are lapping the 0 car, the Alex Harrison Racing entry, with Mike Humphreys at the wheel. And Mike Humphreys, Griffith waited way too late to get around him, and Matthews gained a ton of ground on him as a result. And there you see the other two transfer positions are occupied by Messena and Quiggles Jr. as Humphreys. Griffith wide, and Messena taking his time getting by the 0 car. Battle for the lead here, though. Doesn't really matter if you finish first or second, but there is prize money. There is additional prize money for winning this race. And Ryan Matthews, of course, owns and drives for his own team. He's got a run on the 07 car. Oh, no, boys, what was that for? Ryan Matthews just drove over Anthony Griffith, and he took them both out. Oh, that was completely unnecessary. Absolutely. Oh, no, Leckliter, nowhere to go but running into his Tenaire stablemate, and Griffith is out, and Griffith has to be absolutely furious because that was... Really, there wasn't any need for that. The 06 car, really, Griffith there was no way he was going to get out of there cleanly. Because of the line that Matthews had taken into the corner. Insane maneuver from Ryan Matthews, who I would have expected would have been a little bit smarter than that, and now he's compounding it because now he's getting in the way of Archer Harris, who I might point out, if Matthews were to take Harris out, then that would actually really benefit his Independence Trophy bid because Harris is probably the favorite to win the Independence Trophy at this point in time. This means, of course, that Gabriel Messena in the 71 car is now leading the race in the Star of Brazil car. Stan Hall has just worked his way into second because of about half the field pitted and he stayed out an extra lap. Archer Harris, you saw right there, pitted, and he was in third. Messena is now leading the race in car number 71. Quiggles Jr. is running in second. And third, it looks like it's going to be Hall. Yes, Hall is running third now. And there's a black car running in fourth. I think it's a little hard to tell who it is. Ike Durbin, I think. But I think Ike Durbin is fourth in line, but he's off cycle. The car running in fourth is actually the 79. As that is a big slide from John Quackenbush in the background. North end of the track is... there's a couple of bumps actually entering once the cars re-enter Zone 7. That is actually throwing some of them sideways a bit over there. As Quiggles Jr. now beginning to reel in Gabriel Messena. The Sealander wants to win this race, but Quiggles Jr. I think might be a bit smarter than to press his luck, theoretically. Maybe not. As now you see running order at the top. Quackenbush in car number 34, chasing down Archer Harris in the 79 car. Ryan Matthews, of course, due to his own self-destructive behavior, earned himself a trip to the steward's office. Gabriel Messena now looks like he might be stretching his lead on Quiggles again. Yes, as we have the second round of pit stops. This race, 28 laps, is a bit longer than you might originally think, especially for a sort of a trophy dash race. But Messena is he's looking really solid right now. He's not cracking under pressure. He's being very smooth, very methodical, and that's what he needs to do. Quackenbush in the 34. He's actually hanging on to fifth pretty well right now. On board with Quiggles Jr. in car number 99. We're going to see where he comes out in relation to the race leader. Maybe he can take the lead by being in the pits shorter period of time. And no, doesn't look like it. I think that's Messena up ahead of him up the road, and it is. So in other words, he lost quite a bit of ground. But that is Stan Hall in his mirror running in third, and Hall will put himself into the Grand Prix of Gravis City at the rate he's going, as Messena putting a lap on Percy, who giving him a bit of a hard time after Messena passed her. It's interesting. Gabriel Messena, though, looking very strong right now. I think he might have this one live. Oh, whoa, whoa! No! Percy just wiped out the second place car! Hannah PERCY, it looks like there's a big collision there and Quiggles Jr.'s in the pits. He can't really get that thing refired now. Here we have the onboard from the 28. Oh, whoa! Percy lifted completely off the gas when Quiggles Jr. was right alongside. I don't know if she had a bobble or what, but looking here, no. That was more incredibly careless driving from Hannah PERCY, I'm afraid. Gabriel Macena, on the other hand, though, car number 71, no real opposition, no challenge from behind. Gabriel Macena will win the Independence Trophy Dash. Stan Hull and Archer Harris will complete the podium, and John Quackenbush, by just a second and a half, takes the final transfer spot. Karpinko had a good rally from starting 15th. Leckliter had a pretty good run as well, even though there was really nobody around him after the opening couple of laps, and after the first pit stop, he ran it all by himself pretty much. Makoto YAMADA, pretty good run in that car for the first time. Not exactly under the easiest of circumstances, but I'd say he did a very good job. Azure in car number 46, I think, might be a bit disappointed that he didn't get through this round, especially because he was looking pretty fast all throughout practice, and there are a lot of really fast cars that are going to be in the last chance qualifier that weren't in this race, and those are the fan-voted cars, I should point out. Quiggles Jr. managed to snag 10th place, but he really didn't want to talk to anybody after the race. Ryan Matthews, couldn't really get a hold of him or Anthony Griffith because those two had a bit of a fight behind the as soon as the race ended, and the Team Thunder was not terribly happy with Ryan Matthews, and the stewards weren't either. The stewards had some rather long conversations with Ryan Matthews and Hannah PERCY for their antics on track. And we'll see if there's any penalties thrown out, because there were some criticisms of the stewards, and particularly race director Ryan Reinhardt, for being far too lenient when it came to penalties, or giving penalties for purely racing incidents, as what happened with Scott Stoidler in Surfers Paradise. We're going to have to wait and see if there's any penalties handed out, but if there are, I would expect them to be no more than those cars being sent to the back of the grid for the last chance qualifier, which will be coming your way very soon.